Ever stand at like, oh, car show, and there's this concept car, and you're like, what even is that thing? Well, get ready, because today we're diving into a whole collection of those head-scratching moments. Car concepts so wild, they make you rethink what a car can even be,
What's really cool, though, is how these designs, even though they're way out there, they often connect to things we actually want in the real world, like emerging tech or just like fantasies people have. They take those what-if thoughts we all have and just, bam, put them on wheels.
And speaking of on wheels, or not on wheels, I guess. First up, we've got a car that ditches them entirely. Okay, picture this. Sleek, metallic, gliding above these highways. But the highways are glowing neon. Total cyberpunk vibe, but also kind of luxurious.
Yeah, that floating car concept, it's tapping into magnetic levitation, that maglev tech. You've seen it with high-speed trains, right? But for your car, whole different ballgame. You'd need magnetic roads everywhere.
Talk about a smooth ride, though, huh? But okay, if we're talking defying gravity, this next one goes even further. We're talking a car with energy wings, soaring above it all. That classic flying car dream, right? But I gotta ask, what would it actually feel like to be up there, looking down at everyone stuck in traffic?
It definitely gets at that desire for freedom, right? No more traffic jams, just up and away. But it's interesting to compare that to another car we've got, retro-futuristic. Looks like a spaceship, but also a classic car, kind of a mashup.
Oh yeah, this one's straight out of like a 50s comic book, but modernized. Instead of flying over Earth, though, we're talking cruising past planets and stars. And get this, the cabin is like a transparent bubble. Road trip anyone.
Exactly. See, different fantasies at play. One's about conquering the sky, right? Being able to FLY yourself. The other, it's about the awe of space, like space tourism becoming a reality.
And the tech behind them is totally different, too. Like, we're seeing progress with those eVTOLs, those electric helicopter things. Quiet, efficient, getting us closer to personal flight. But space travel, a bit more complicated than that.
For sure. And that contrast, it highlights something else about this whole beyond the road thing. It's not just the tech, it's how it makes you feel, the rush of piloting your own flying car, or the quiet wonder of seeing Earth from space. What kind of escape speaks to you?
Right. What kind of adventure are you after? Speaking of which, this next car is all about speed and a whole lot of fire. Dragon-inspired race car, but it doesn't just have an engine, it practically breathes fire. Can you imagine that sound?
Yeah.
Not just an engine roaring, but like a dragon's roar.
Interesting they went with a dragon, They're usually seen as like raw power, untamed energy, kind of perfect for a crazy fast race car when you think about it. And that kind of gets at something else, right? The sound a car makes, it really gets to people. That engine purr, when it's tuned just right, or in this case, maybe a terrifying roar, it's all part of it.
Totally.
Yeah.
Like the soundtrack to your drive. But, okay, not every car here is about speed and noise. This next one, whole different world, we're going underwater. Picture a sleek car, but it's a submersible, gliding through coral reefs, those bioluminescent creatures all around. Less about the drive, more about the dive, submerge, what's the word?
Explore, maybe? This one really gets at that fascination we have with like what's under the surface, like a high-tech aquarium, but you're inside it.
Sign me up. Says this one is super agile, like navigating tight spaces, no problem. Makes you think about exploring shipwrecks, right? Or those hidden caves underwater.
Captures that exploration vibe for sure, but it also brings up something important, the impact all this tech has on the environment. Like, just because we could design a car to go that deep, should we? What would it do to those ecosystems, the delicate ones?
Good point. Even with these fantasy cars, there's always that real world side of things. Okay, totally different vibe now. This car's not about exploring, it's about arriving. Made entirely of shimmering crystal, can you imagine?
Oh yeah, this one is pure luxury, extravagance. Sunlight hitting this thing, it'd be like rainbows everywhere it went.
Gotta admit, kind of fabulous.
Yeah.
But it makes you think, why does a car like this appeal to people? Just standing out, being flashy, what is it?
Shows how cars are more than just machines, right? Status symbols, fashion even, some people treat them like art.
Yeah, this one's not about horsepower, it's about style power. Speaking of making a statement, this next car does that too, but way darker. Gothic-inspired race car, all sleek and dark, engine sounds like a thunderstorm.
Interesting how that design makes it feel kind of mysterious, maybe even dangerous. Not all car fantasies are about, like, a perfect future.
This one's rebellious for sure.
Yeah.
Like, get in, we're going for a ride.
Exactly, different kind of thrill.
Totally. You know what else is thrilling, though? When nature and tech actually work together. This next car, biomech, tires made of living roots, and get this, they adapt to Anawee terrain. Like eco-warrior, but high-tech.
Yeah, you can tell there's this desire for sustainability, even in our wildest ideas about cars. What if they didn't hurt the planet, but actually, like, worked with nature?
Right. Imagine you're off-roading, but instead of tire tracks, you leave, I don't know, a trail of flowers. Okay, maybe I got carried away. But you see what I mean. Okay, speaking of living in harmony, this next one is a whole city way up high on platforms. And guess how everyone gets around? Hover cars, designed just for this sky-high city.
Interesting way to deal with crowded cities, right? As they get more packed, is this the future of transportation, just up in the air?
And let's be real, who wouldn't want to just float over rush hour traffic,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Especially in style.
Like penthouse apartment, but on the move. Right. Though if we're talking pushing boundaries, this last one, whoa. Okay, imagine the roads, they're not even roads, they're like shifting geometric shapes, constantly changing. And your car, basically pure energy, zipping through this crazy landscape.
Okay, this one's messing with my head a little. It's not even really about the car at this point, right? It's the whole experience. Like, what would that even feel like, driving when the rules of physics are, like, optional?
It's like they designed a car for a reality we don't even understand yet, you know? Movement, speed, all different. More like surfing on reality than driving on a road.
This whole deep dive, it makes you think, what even makes a car a car? You know? Is it just getting from A to B, or is it something more?
That's what's so cool about these crazy designs, right? They make you think past the practical stuff. How does it make you feel? What does it say about us? You know, like philosophical even, how we see tech, what we want from it.
It's like these car concepts, they're not just about cars, they're about US, our dreams, what we're scared of, what we want.
Totally. Our relationship with the world, too. We had cars about escaping into the sky, into the ocean, ones that were eco-friendly, others all about luxury, showing off.
Yeah. A mirror to our imaginations, the whole thing. So as we wrap up our trip through these wild car concepts, what really stuck with you? A certain tech, the way it looked, or just the feeling you got from it. What do you think your favorite says about the future you're hoping for? Something to think about, right? Until next time, keep those imaginations running wild.